Today is Monday, February 24th, and I haven't recorded an Ag Fact of the Day in a while. This one is pulled from Ag Daily. Chapter 12, Farm Bankruptcies Surge Amid Economic Strain. California was the leading state with 17 filings, and Michigan saw the largest increase, jumping from 0 cases in 2023 to 12 in 2024. Chapter 12 essentially allows farmers to continue operations without losing everything, and this overall trend is opposite from what has been going on the previous 4 years, where we had actually seen a decrease in Chapter 12 bankruptcies by farmers. And this is likely caused by the increase in production costs and squeezing profit margins. I don't have the numbers from these operations to actually show or share in what type of crops that they were producing or what type of agricultural endeavors they had. But I feel like agriculture in general is a very volatile industry, and many markets don't have control over what they get compensated for the products that they are producing. I've mentioned it to my students several times that in 2021 we saw increases beyond comprehension, really, when it came to production agriculture and the cost that those farmers were spending in order to put crops in the ground for that growing year. And I always wondered if there would be a repercussion from that. Now, obviously, again, I don't have their numbers to show you firsthand and say these were the crops that they were producing and this is why they had to declare Chapter 12. I don't know that information. But when you look at the agricultural industry overall, it's just a very uncertain market at times. And because all of the costs of everything have gone up, even for consumers, it's not just agriculture, but as a quote that I like to turn to, farmers are the only people that buy things at retail and sell things at wholesale. And that is true for the most part. But this provided me an opportunity to discuss this with my Introduction to Agriculture class. I will also be touching on it in my 8th grade Ag and Natural Resources class. And this is something that we would not necessarily discuss right on point. So this Ag Fact of the Day really did open a whole nother area of ag that I don't necessarily talk about all the time. And I have heard from farmers say, because I've mentioned before how hard and challenging it is to get into farming, and you're making a lot of sacrifices in the overhead, and people commented on my videos before about the cost in machinery and land alone is a deterrent to anyone, and that is true if you're not inheriting, et cetera, et cetera. It's not that starting out on your own isn't impossible. It is possible, but what I hear from some people is that as a farmer, you just have to be comfortable going into or having that amount of debt over your head in order to conduct operations. And to me, that's just a very scary thought when you have no control over the market that you're selling to. Now, there are farmers that have diversified their production, and that helps to offset. Like I mentioned to my students, there are some large-scale farmers, crop operations, that will diversify into many crops. So that way, when one crop has a poor year, the other crops that are doing well help to offset that. You know, maybe although those prices that I just referenced increased drastically in 2021, is this part of the fallout of all of those things that have occurred since COVID? So anyway, just some food for thought. And last week was National FFA Week. We had February break. We had the entire week off of President's Day. Usually a lot of schools in New York do. We have a shortened Christmas break though. And of course, National FFA celebrated National FFA Week last week. So our school will be observing that, not this week, the following week. My kids have come up with themed days, and they're trying to get kids more involved and be more visual in celebration of FFA Week. We were not able to do teacher appreciation gifts this year. We have just been absolutely going crazy with contest preparation and everything else that needs to get done. So Substates is on March 15th. I have 2 Connective Chapter meeting teams, 1 Parley Pro team. Then we have MEETS Evaluation and Technology at the end of March. So contest preparation is in full force. And of course, we are still a few months out from state convention. So we're just trying to make it through our day-to-day and practicing and studying what they need to study. And that's it for the agricultural fact of the day. I hope you learned something. Also, we are finally having a warm up here with our temperatures. So I think it's going to be in the 40s today. So hopefully some of the snow will melt. My parents, I mentioned this in a video a few days ago, they actually ended up with over 8 feet of snow in a 10-day period. So the thaws are going to be rough for certain areas of the state. There will probably be a lot of flooding.